I recently upgraded my graphic card from GTX 680 to GTX 970, and Nvidia has this Pick Your Path bundle promotion. Out of those choices, I grabbed a copy of Assassin's Creed Unity, the latest installation in one of my favorite series. It was a bug fest upon release, which makes me not regretting my decisions on not pre-ordering this game, but is it still a bug fest? Is it still a broken piece of shit after multiple patches? Let's find out. This latest installation is the most controversial of Ubisoft's screws-up in Assassin's Creed history. Ever since the revelations, the series is getting a lot of problems and negative critics for its gameplay mechanics and lack of optimization for the PC port, which I tend to agree with, but the story of the series is what makes me stay with it. But we are not here to talk about the series overall, we are about to talk about the Unity specifically. Let's go through the storyline for Unity first. For those who are not familiar with the series, Assassin's Creed has always two parts of the stories in one game. Historical part and the modern day part. The Ancestor and the Desmond Saga as an example. For historical part of the story, you are in the Animus running around Versailles and Paris during the time of French Revolution as Arnaud Dorian. The hint of Ezio storyline here is pretty obvious to me. Arnaud's dad is killed by Templar and he is then adopted by Francois de la Serre, which then killed, so he seeks a way to redeem himself for his failures and introduced to the assassins. Arnaud reminds me of Ezio in his young days in Assassin's Creed 2 too much, chasing personal vendetta rather than assassin's interest as a whole, but later mature and become a good assassin, putting assassin's interest in front of anything else. And Dead King's DLC shows the master assassin side of Arnaud better, and I would recommend you to play the DLC after you finish the original story. Overall, I like the historical part of the Unity, and I could say that if you like the Ezio stories in Assassin's Creed 2, you will like the story too. As for modern story, it is almost non-existent. I don't know what happened, but the only role the modern story is playing here, as an intro saying you have to find the sage before the Templars do, rescuing you from the Templars, sniffing your activity by opening portals to the breach, and open the new portal in the breach server to get you out, and finally tells you that you don't need to do anything when you found the sage, because Templars will never find it. At that moment, I don't even know the point of the story anymore exactly. Luckily, the DLC managed to kind of save that by getting back to Pieces of Eden. Control for free running is still sucks as ever. Improvement were done, but I don't see the points of the improvement. I don't see any significant improvement that caused by that improvement. You now get two additional options while free running up and free running down. Basically climbing while running, and the game will try to find the safest way to go down for you while doing free run down, so you don't get hurt. But you still can climb random things like chair or low chimney while free running, and you still jump down even if you don't hit that specific buttons. So what's the point of having the option if the game is still trying to guess your action anyway? Here's my suggestion, Ubisoft. Retain the free run up and down options and stop guessing if you want to climb that chair or not. Just don't climb at all if you don't hit the buttons, okay? Great. With control put aside, the mission choices are actually pretty good. The new thing introduced in this Unity is the local stories and investigation. Some stories do split into a few parts, but the thing that really bugs me is that the next part of the story doesn't appear until you either reload the game or fast travel to some point before the part appears. We should get an option to just continue without needing to do unnecessary new load. As for investigation story, I think it is the most interesting new thing introduced in this game. It's just that the difficulty of the cases are not that hard. Well, to be fair, I didn't play them all, but some were like, you don't even need to put an effort at all. It just leads you right to the person who did it. There's also the Nostradamus Enigmas, investigating clues and finding symbols. From there, you can find artifacts that will unlock a secret puzzle that will lead you to a unique armor outfit. The clues does give you some challenges in deciphering, but you do need a very good knowledge in the game area to properly solve the clues. It usually is pretty obvious, but without proper knowledge of the in-game area, you probably will just running around. The database is usually very helpful, but if you are impatient, there's always Google. While the overall experience is good, that doesn't mean the single player campaign is 100% perfect. My main gripe with the campaign is that it feels so very much like the first Assassin's Creed. Investigate what's going on, acquire a target, and assassinate the target. It feels so much like the first Assassin's Creed that I immediately become tired of it. Luckily, they modified the assassination mission a little bit by putting some optional objectives, what they call opportunity. These opportunities is something that will make your assassination a lot easier, but getting them isn't a piece of cake either. It is challenging to create the opportunity, but it really is worth it. And another new addition in this installation is what they call crowd missions. It is a mission where the crowd gets into trouble, like being snatched thief victims, or being harassed by the extremists. The problem is, it happens so often that it starts to bother me. I'm on my way to do my thing, and suddenly somebody got harassed and I have to help. And I went, why are you so freaking helpless? And am I in Paris or Gotham? It's like the citizen of Paris is so weak that nobody can defend themselves from anything. And the thing that bugging me, they actually know how to fight. They just don't want to fight. If you know how to fight, you are strong, just fight them. Luckily, this is not too bad. It is borderline logical, but still everything makes sense when you think that there are a lot of people taking advantage of the chaos in the revolution. Help the crowd enough, you will be rewarded handsomely. Co-op missions are fun too. It's been too long since we did that. Playing together with a friend cooperating to do missions, what's not fun about that? There's two different types of mission, Heist and Assassin's co-op story. In Heist, the reward will be reduced every time you are in open conflict, so to maximize your reward, you will need to be as stealthy as possible and complete the objectives. In co-op story, it doesn't really matter what method you choose, stealthy or not, that's not the point. You need to collect the sync point in missions at specific location to get the perfect point, and you will have to replay the missions to get all the rewards. The co-op is good, you can even sync up your action to get the best result, but you will start questioning how come there's so many Arno. As much fun as the co-op mission as multiplayer part of the game, I do miss the traditional PvP multiplayer. They went missing this time around, and if you really want to play those, you'll have to go back to Black Flag or Assassin's Creed 3. The crowd is something to be amazed as well. The crowd has their own life. Walking around parks, discussing on the side of the road, some were even seen proposing to their girlfriend. So sweet. But boy, the rioters. Don't they have business to attend? Don't they have to eat? You stay at the protest area long enough and you will start questioning their motives. Are they there just protesting 24/7 without calming down even for 1 second? The crowd will disperse and running around when something bad happens. At least they can react to their surrounds. Stealth mechanics works pretty well in this game, and actually it is making a little bit more sense compared to Black Flag. Black Flag relies on good level design for the stealth mechanics. Elements for you to hide were scattered around in the level you are playing, and as for Unity, you rely on those crowds a lot when you are in open area. Blending with the crowd is very important, but you can still hide behind walls, chairs, tables, closets, to name a few. Though when you start customize your Arnor's armor with weird colors, it starts not to make sense. Being the only guy in yellow among the black cloth crowd doesn't attract any attention? Yeah, right. Though you can excuse that since the guards are pretty much an idiot. Hiding behind the small table directly in front of him and he suspects nothing. As stupid as those guards, they will come and check their dead friends if they see one. You can use this to your advantage, luring them out of their patrol path. And you can also lure them out with fireworks as well. Some other bombs can help you stay in stealth or run away from your chasers, pretty much like any other Assassin's Creed. Since there is co-op elements in the game, Ubisoft tried to implement some RPG elements to customize your Arno. You can sacrifice stealth to be excellent in melee combat, or you can sacrifice everything else and specialize in stealth. Customizability is very good that you can mix and match stuff to suit your playstyle, and it was done good It's hard not to like the customization in the game, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. Similar to many RPGs, you can modify your character stats like how big your eagle vision radius is, or how silent you are when falling and running, but the value for them is not consistent and the descriptions are nowhere to be seen. As an example, high profile noise. The value in game is always plus a few percent and I immediately become confused. Is adding more percentage means increasing my noise or reducing my noise? I checked the explanation on their own website and the stat changes is in negative instead of positive. And I went, what the hell is going on? To make matter worse, some other stealth stats like restricted area time detection is in negative. What the hell, Ubisoft? Are you slapping these stats as afterthoughts? Get your shit together. And this is one of the controversial department of the game, the graphics. Graphics in cutscenes are amazing, but that's all of it, I guess. Citizens of Paris sometimes pops out of nowhere, not to mention they climb trees and fences when they pop ups. While I don't see any weird frame rate issues on my machine, the details are not that great either. Seriously, my setting is at high with extra HPAO+, and anything far away is like being rendered by a potato. It's not much of an issue when you are running around on the ground, but it seriously bothers me when I'm high up, looking down trying to solve the Nostradamus enigmas. Come on, at least render the faraway stuff instead of them looking so blurry like it is being rendered by GeForce 2 with very low texture. This is 2015 and it looks like textured for 2000 games, before all the HD resolution ever exists. I understand that it's pretty hard to render all the clouds, but I can't say that I can accept that kind of textures at high level details. Luckily the animation is excellent. I can't say I don't like them. Parkour animation, assassination animation, pay that animator a bonus, Ubisoft. As for the frame rate, like I said, I don't find weird frame rate issues. Still, maintaining 60 frames per second is pretty hard even on my GTX 970, and I heard even GTX 980 is still struggling. Well, at least you can get above 30 frames per second. Maintaining 60 frames per second will most likely need SLI or crossfire setup. But by the time this review was done, the SLI is still broken. Another controversial topic, microtransactions. Seriously, Ubisoft? I mean, seriously? People pay you $60 and you still ask for more money? Rich people, please help us stopping this madness by not buying the in-game currencies with your real money. This isn't freaking mobile game, this is a full-fledged AAA game. Any kind of microtransactions are serious offender. Not to mention they are implementing pay to freaking win scheme here. Okay, given there's no PvP, it won't really upset any balancing whatsoever. But that doesn't excuse the blatant microtransaction in this game. As if the microtransactions in the game is not enough, even the companion app has premium access for $2. It's not like the companion app is any useful to anybody who doesn't buy the game, but apparently $60 is still not enough for the greedy Ubisoft. Speaking of the companion app, since they introduced it in the Black Flag, I like the companion app idea. I use them to view live map. Marking the map is easier for lazy people like me, but sometimes the app cannot properly track Arno and you need to quit and restart the app again to fix it. The app cannot be used to generate easy money similar to Black Flag, where you send your fleet to the missions and collect money from the missions. What you can do is to solve the glyph puzzles, which is finding hidden symbols in the landmark buildings, and that will unlock missions for you to send your assassins. These missions will reward you with currency that is specific to the companion app. This currency will allow you to heal, upgrade your assassins, and hiring more assassins. And as you complete the missions, you will unlock nomad chests as well. This chest contains rewards in the form of equipment or money you can use in the game. The bad thing about it is, you can lose access to one of your assassins because they are away collecting your rewards once the mission is complete. To be able to maximize the assassin's usability, always collect your rewards in game. Though I think Ubisoft should find some better way to overcome this. One thing that I heard people complain about the game is the lack of mount. My comment on that is you don't want any mount in the game with that kind of crowd. You will just hitting everyone, and especially the guards and extremists. The next thing you know, you will be complaining about your big mount is not suitable in the city. And here's my conclusion on Assassin's Creed Unity. It's not a bad game, the idea is good, but seriously the implementation makes me cringe sometimes. Story is good, stealth mechanics works pretty well, co-op multiplayer is pretty fun, but I cannot say it's an excellent game, mainly because of the potato textures and blatant microtransactions. By the time this review was done, the SLI support for this game is still broken awaiting patch. If you are running an SLI machine hoping to boost your performance with SLI, hold your purchase until the proper patch comes out. If you are running single card, go ahead, and I say it's possible though quite laughable as a little release. It's an okay game though, nothing excellent about it.